Our top story this evening, U.S. President Donald Trump has stepped up his tariff assault in the latest move. Trump has said that he would impose a 35% tariff on Canada starting next month. The tariff is an increase from the current 25% tariff that U.S. has already imposed on Canada. That's not all. He has also said that he would impose blanket tariffs of 15 to 20% on most other trading partners. In a post on X, the Canadian Prime Minister said that the government would continue to defend Canadian workers and businesses in its negotiation with the US. Trump in his letter hit out at Canada for the flow of fentanyl from Canada as well as the country's tariff and non-tariff trade barriers that hurt US dairy farmers and others. Now, this comes in addition to the over 20 letters that have already been sent by Trump to various nations around the world and his steep tariffs on copper, pharma and other sectors. In a post on Truth Social, US President Donald Trump said, and I quote, "Tariffs are making our country boom. Many new factories, jobs and trillions of dollars in investment are pouring into the US." End of quote. Joining me now to discuss this further is Carlos Gutierrez, former US Commerce Secretary. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the program. Let me begin by asking you, how would you explain Donald Trump's politics this time? Even in his first term, he was very hard in terms of trade negotiations. But this time he seems to be going against everyone, friend and foe alike.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to be here. You know, he believes that the U.S. is essentially getting ripped off. So if you start out with that premise, then you can see why he's so aggressive. These recent tariffs, Canada, for example, it just says that there's a lot of pressure to get some deals done before August 1. And as these tariffs come on, what it tells me is that Canada is either not cooperating or being difficult or being a tough negotiator themselves. So it's a way of pressuring to be able to get something done on August 1. And that's the big pressure right now. Over the next 20 days, the U.S. has to complete, if not complete, we have to complete some frameworks, some call it term sheets for trade, because there's no way we would finish the complete agreement. But that's the pressure. And Canada's one, and there's so many others, European Union, India's one, Japan, Korea. So the next 20 days will be fascinating. A lot of news, a lot of focus on trade.
Right. Do you also feel that the reason why the deadline was extended to the 1st of August from the 9th of July, and considering why Donald Trump is now increasing and stepping up tariff pressure on everyone, is this because he's not getting the political victory that he wants?
Yeah, you know, a couple of things. One is it's a very ambitious negotiation, and we're negotiating with probably 12 countries, which just, you know, it puts pressure on our bandwidth. And then the president is going after the toughest issues. So this is not a negotiation that is designed to move the ball forward. You know, he wants to fix the trade deficits. So, you know, in the case of India, he's going after $45 billion of deficit. And that invariably leads him towards the most sensitive issues. So, you know, for each country, this is getting at the heart of their strategic economic policy. And that's what makes it so difficult. So all these new tariffs and the pressure on August 1 is designed to get some agreements. But these will not be, you know, totally flushed out trade deals. There'll be agreements in principle. But I think he wants enough to be able to announce that there's an agreement in principle.
Right. What do you think Donald Trump wants from India? India has offered a very far-reaching deal, but at the same time, we've made it clear, and you know, Mr. Gutierrez, you also know India's stand on agriculture and dairy. We don't give that concession, keeping in mind sensitivities of our farmers, of our dairy industry, of our people. Where do you think things will eventually land with India?
Well, I think to start with, the relationship is good. It's strong. President Trump and Prime Minister Modi have hit it off. And, you know, there's a lot at stake. And I don't think any side takes that lightly. I think there's a great deal of respect for the relationship. So the desire is to get something done. As you say, the difficult part here is that In order to bring down that deficit of $45 billion, it's going to require some difficult choices from India. Agriculture, which as we know is just incredibly politically sensitive. Then there's also the PLI, the production incentive, which India doesn't want to give up on. They don't want to change. So potentially oil and gas, potentially military weapons, but all those items will require a strategic choice on India's part. If it's military weapons, then they'll have to deal with their reliance on Russia and France, and that will be a diplomatic situation. If it's weaponry, Russia is a big part of it as well. If oil and gas, there are also commitments with Qatar. So all of these will require a difficult choice, and that's what makes this so sensitive. But I believe that because both sides want to get something done, and there's a lot more at stake here than just the trade. There's the Quad, and the fact that the U.S. that President Trump offered Prime Minister Modi sales of the F-35, that's a big deal. So no one wants to backtrack. So I think there is a positive commitment to getting something done, but it will require some tough choices on India's part. This is probably a combination of a lot of things and not just one big silver bullet.
Right. You're right. It's not just about trade negotiations. There are larger strategic choices that U.S. is wanting India to move or wanting India to make. Let me also ask you about copper tariffs. Now, the U.S. has said 50% tariffs on copper imports will take effect on the 1st of August. Now, U.S. consumers, according to some reports, will end up paying $15,000 per metric ton for copper, while the rest of the world pays around $10,000 by the 1st of August. How do you think this will end up hurting the U.S. industry?
Well, the copper decision is a big one. And I was surprised that it was so aggressive, the 50%. Copper is, 45% of the copper in the U.S. is imported. To start getting production up, just almost on a tactical level, is we need till 2027, 28. But to really gear up production in the U.S., that has to be mining investments. And we're talking many, many years. So there'll be a gap where prices will increase, potentially we'll have shortages. And I'm not sure how the president's thinking about addressing that. But there has to be a way, because if not, it will backfire. And in terms of using this with some of the reciprocal negotiations, yes, Canada exports copper to the U.S., but the big player is Chile. And Chile isn't really part of these reciprocal negotiations right now. So copper is one to watch. And I think it's one that it should be strategic in the president's mind, because I don't think it will serve for these short-term negotiations.
Right. Do you think President Trump's tariff policies will actually bring back manufacturing to the U.S., considering companies take a very long-term view? And be it Apple or be it any other industry for that matter, getting back manufacturing could substantially increase costs for American consumers. Companies have to make business choices, economic choices. Can he actually force companies basis these tariff policies?
Yeah, that's the big question. And of course, the answer will be seen over years. It's not going to be seen next year. There are some examples to point to that are short term. Some automobile manufacturing is coming back, but that's a relatively small scale. There's a bigger chance to do this on new industries, potentially semiconductor, some of the very high tech. Automobile, they'd be bringing back capacity that went overseas a long time ago. And whether the industry can withstand the cost increases and the price increases will be the key challenge. But we will see this over time. It will not be proven out in the short term. I think what the president wants is to have examples that prove that the U.S. is going in the right direction. So some of the automobile, General Motors bringing back some cars, that has helped. announce it. It's helped provide some hope that this will work over the long term. I'm sure there will be some announcements on steel. So, a lot of this will be conceptual, anecdotal, until many years from now when we're able to see if it actually worked out. Now, what you're saying is very important. This is if a company is going to reinvest in capital in the U.S., then there should be some certainty that these tariffs are going to stay on for a long time. But there is no certainty. And, a future administration could decide to take them off. And that's what makes the decision so difficult for companies.
That's right. In fact, there is no guarantee whether the future administrations, it could be a Democrat, it could be another Republican candidate, and whether they would like to follow through with these policies. I would like to ask you about Tesla's India entry. Now, this was being speculated, explored by Elon Musk for a very long time. Now, Tesla's finally entering India. 15th of July, they're opening their first experience center. They're beginning sales operations from India's financial capital, Mr. Gutierrez. How do you see Tesla's India entry at a time when they are under stress in terms of sales, market share in China, in Europe?
That's a great point. I think it shows Tesla's commitment to India, and it shows also India's standing in the world of commerce and business. Tesla will have to pay tariffs. I don't think the cars are coming from the U.S. Even if a deal is done on tariffs with the U.S., my understanding is that the cars would come from China, and China won't be part of this agreement to lower tariffs. So it does show that Tesla has a long-term strategic commitment to India. Perhaps they're willing to sacrifice profits in the short term, build some manufacturing over the next several years. But it's a very good sign. It does show that there is commitment on Tesla's behalf for India. So it's a good signal.
How do you also see this at a time when when Donald Trump and Elon Musk are at a warpath and are at loggerheads with each other? He has been asking Apple to manufacture in USA for USA. And at this time, you've got Tesla saying, I'm going to start sales operations in India.
Well, the interesting thing about Tesla is that they are the car manufacturer that produces the most in the U.S. So all of Tesla's U.S. sales are manufactured in the U.S. So from that standpoint, they're pretty well covered. I'm not sure that their entry into India will impact negotiations. Will be an opportunity for Trump to push back on Musk and Tesla. I think that will come in the political arena, and that's where Musk is taking a big risk. Is he's not only a billionaire businessman who wants to be even more successful. He is a billionaire businessman who is also deep into politics. And that's going to be the rub. And for Tesla shareholders and the Tesla board, of course, that's what they have to deal with. It's now a political consideration for people to invest in Tesla. And that's a problem. So, that just muddies up the water. But Elon Musk is not going away. It's not in his nature. He's going to continue with his New America Party. And he's going to continue building Tesla and building his total organizations, the Boring Company, SpaceX. That's who he is, and he's going to continue pushing forward. And there's no doubt this will be quite a drama over the next several years. But Musk is not going away. He's determined, and that's who he is.
Right. He's the man to watch out for over the next few years, definitely. Mr. Gutierrez, thank you so much for joining us here on Global Lens. All right, let's move on. Time to take a look at all the other